calendar. We're a good twin, bad twin. We were talking before camera, and I wanted to say something to you. I said I want you to start out first of all by putting your info out so people can know how to come to support.
So those who want to support the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, please send your donations to FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware 19809. I repeat, P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware 19809. You can also donate on your Cash App at $FDMG School. That's cash.me/$FDMG School. We have a 4-building campus in Wilmington, Delaware that includes 2 schools. We purchased February of this year, but we now need to raise the funds to restore that school and start educating our young black boys. Support FDMG, Black Power.
Appreciate the update too, because a lot of times people say, well, what you doing? And the sad part about it is, well, why you need to know that if you ain't helping, but I appreciate you even sharing that information.
No problem.
How's it going today?
All is well. Glad to be back in Jackson. This is my 10-year anniversary, counting from 2010, when I went international in the conscious movement. So to me, it's very surreal, very reflective. 10 years of doing this on the international level, 20 overall. And so now we're going into a new decade. And so I'm just excited. We got the school, so I'm very much looking forward to making a transition from consciousness raising through the lectures to institution building with the school. So it's a natural next step for me to start building instead of just spreading the information.
That's what's up. So in terms of ETA, estimated time, what do you think that looks like?
There is no ETA because I don't know how long it's going to take y'all to give me the money to fix the school up.
What's
so,
what are you thinking?
It's $1 million to restore the campus.
Okay.
And until the campus is restored, it would be irresponsible for me to give a date.
Okay. Right.
School got to be restored. I mean, the best part of this whole process is we have the school.
Right.
And we have a school that has enough space in it that not only would it serve as a learning institution, but it will also serve as a black community organizing headquarters. So once we're open, I anticipate that our lights will never go off. There's so much that we can do, will do, and can't wait to do. So the timeline is up to the people, but we have the school, we own it flat out, it is ours. So half of the victory is already there.
Let's say kudos.
We now just have to restore.
Say kudos. So no curriculum is happening at the school.
What do you mean no curriculum?
Because you can't, because physically.
Physically the building got to be restored. So the school is empty until we get it restored. We got to get the electric done, the HVAC done, the plumbing has to be redone. The school is in beautiful structural shape though. If you walk through it right now, you would say to yourself, well, how much does it need? Because everything is still intact. It was a modern charter school that closed down a couple years ago. Excellent shape. The reason it needs the repairs is because it was vandalized the 4 years while it was closed. If it was not vandalized, it would be move-in ready. Literally, we would have moved in and just opened up class. But if that were the case, I probably would not have been able to afford it. The $750,000 we raised would not have been enough to purchase it. We still didn't have enough. They wanted well over $1 million, but I just stayed on them and stayed on them and stayed on them. And after 18 months, they finally decided to sell it to me. I couldn't believe it. So it was divine intervention that we even have it because we still didn't have enough money for it.
Well, I'm glad that it's open.
Yes.
You're well on to your phases of
restoring it and then operations. Acquisition, restoration, operation.
Okay, so what are some other goals besides the school?
Well, in addition to the school, we're working on a Black Wall Street, West Africa project. I was given 50 acres of land in Ghana, and I want to replicate what we're doing in Wilmington, Delaware in West Africa. So I want to build an FDMG on the continent, an FDMG here, which is Delaware, and then we can have an exchange program and the children can go back and forth. So can the teachers do that? So everything I'm doing in America, I want to also do in Africa because it's Pan-Africanist. We don't believe that you ignore your domestic struggle. I still have an obligation to my people here, but I also see the larger struggle, and that is doing what we need to do for ourselves permanently on the continent, because anything you build here, they can take it. Once FDMG is up and running, I'm going to automatically have to start thinking about how long before I need to repatriate to the continent. Because if my school does what it is born to do, and it will, I'm going to be too much of a threat. Just like with Black Wall Street. You got to know how long you got on your lease before you get the hell out of Dodge. Because black power is a contradiction to white power. White supremacy cannot let black power thrive. That is a contradiction in what they stand for. That's why they had to destroy Tulsa. They had to destroy Rosewood. Okay, they had to destroy Charleston, South Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, because black power in a white racist system is a contradiction. Which is why when we talk about black empowerment, we got to recognize that at the end of that conversation has to be something that deals with a black militia or a black military, because they're coming to tear it down. White people cannot help but destroy things that are progressively black. It is in their DNA.
How do you prevent? You talk about a militia. How do we get to the point where we can prevent the tear down, or is that possible?
You got to have a military in place. But if you're in America, there's really no way that a minority is going to stop, a numerical minority in this country is going to stop a numerical majority who wants to destroy what they built. This is why we always say in Pan-Africanism that you have a future outside of Africa, but you don't have a future without Africa. What do I mean by that?
Because you need the numbers.
And you need the protection. Why was it so difficult for America to colonize Cuba? Because Cuba had an international ally in Russia who would not allow America to bully their little brother. So we need to build a relationship with certain African nations, it doesn't have to be the whole continent, who have a strong enough influence on the United States government to give them pause if they do anything to work against our best interests. But the problem right now is no African nation is strong enough to give America pause. So as long as Africa is weak, Black America will be weak. Black America will never be strong without a black, strong Africa. You've never seen any people be stronger outside the homeland than they are inside their natural homeland, because the natural homeland's reputation dictates the reputation of all her children in the world. So you don't see there's no strong Chinese community without a strong China. There's no strong Jewish community without a strong Israel. Our contradiction as a people, and this is a timely conversation because we're 400 years in now. We're starting our new 401st year, 5th century, new decade, into the quadricentennial. As we go into 2020, we're ending so many cycles and starting a new one. We still haven't got it yet. There will be no strong black Africa, no strong black America without a strong black Africa. So you have to invest in Africa. You have to go back home, because whether you want to live there or not is irrelevant. Most of us think, if I don't plan on living in Africa, I don't need to be worried about Africa. You are so politically immature. The way you are treated is a direct reflection of the way Africa is viewed. The way you are treated is a direct reflection of the way Africa is viewed. When people look at us, they don't see Americans. They see Africans. 400 years, 4,000 years, 4 million years, they will still see an African. So you better do something for Africa so she can do something for you.
Can we do for Africa? What do you see?
Economics. Actually, I don't even want to limit to that. Education. Almost anything that Black America needs, Black Africa needs. But because the financial exchange rate is so much greater because of the economic devastation on the continent, your money goes so much further in Africa. And one of the questions I always get from brothers and sisters in Africa, we were just there this past summer for the year of return. They say, why do y'all go through all that hell competing with white businesses when you can come and open your business here and you don't have no white competition? They don't understand it. They say some of those African-American businesses that are failing in America would be multi-million-dollar businesses here in Africa. Why don't y'all just come here and invest? Because we don't have an international perspective. We have disidentified from being black, and we would rather be psychologically homeless. We would rather be psychologically homeless than connected to Africa. And that is insane. And by the way, we're the only psychologically homeless people in America. Mexicans know they Mexican. Chinese know they Chinese. And then you get Negroes who say, well,
I ain't from Africa.
I wasn't born in Africa. Well, neither was the Chinese American. He's 6th generation USA, but he's still Chinese. That flag still waves in that house because he knows his origin. You have to know your origin and you have to claim it. We're the only ones who don't.
All right, let's talk in terms of like building a relationship. I'm talking about layman's terms. I mean, I don't know anybody, so where am I gonna start? You know,
with Africa?
Right, exactly. To develop a relationship. Because last time we spoke, we talked about things we need to focus on. You had like points, okay, like transportation, banks. There were about 4 different areas that you spoke of. You said if we focus on getting these things where we have complete ownership in these areas, then we can kind of start taking back our culture. But so then I don't know anybody in Africa. I'm saying not that I don't, but I'm saying I don't know anybody in Africa as an example. So what do? I reach out to
the first thing.
What do I do? I mean,
the first thing to do, you have to physically go. Africa, and this is true for any country, I would say, internationally speaking. The worst thing you can do is try to build an electronic relationship. We have to keep digital communication in this place. We're trying to do things digitally that should only be done through human beings. Building relationships is one of them. So first I would tell someone to investigate the continent and decide what country you feel would be most amenable to where you would want to do business or relocate, one or the other, because you can live there or you can just do business there. You have to go, because here's the biggest challenge of doing business in Africa. Having someone on the continent you can trust with your money. You got to have someone on the continent you can trust with your money. So you have to build that relationship up. So once you choose the country you're interested in, I would reach out to the traditional rulers. That's the traditional kings. They own the land. And it's not hard to find them. You can go to Africa and say, listen, I know people who've just showed up in Africa and didn't know nobody. I'm looking to buy some land here because I want to build some institutions. People will take you to their traditional ruler. He's going to take you to his village. He's going to take you to his village. She's going to take you to her village. You will have no problem finding a traditional ruler who is going to sit down and talk to you the minute they hear you say you want to invest and all you need is land. Because in Africa, the land is still under the control of the traditional rulers. They have politicians, but the land is still traditionally owned, and that's the beauty.
That's weird that you say that, because I thought like most of the land, the outside perception is that the land it's been pillaged for mineral rights and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, good point. We're talking about the land in general. Now, when you talk about land where known mineral deposits are, that land may have already been sold to the international European corporation. You follow me? In other words, you're not going to get the land that has 10 million tons of gold. You're not getting that. We're just talking about regular arable land where you can grow and you can build on it. Mineral land, you don't even want to get into that.
About psychology. What are some of the, I know you talk about reading, and what are some of the things to turn around the psychology?
Reading is important, but information does not replace psychosis. Black people are psychologically disturbed. You have to put us through a system of psychological restoration and rehabilitation, just like we was put through a system of psychological indoctrination and self-hatred. A process made the Negro. Not a classroom, but a process. It was school plus socialization. It was school plus dehumanization, not just schooling. You see that? So we have to be able to put ourselves through the same process. The problem is what? I can't force you to go through that. You're a grown man. How can I come to you and say, listen, you're about to do this for 365 days to get your mind back? I have no control over your life. Children, we can control them because they're under our responsibility. So I believe in what Frederick Douglass said, and that is it's better to raise strong children than to repair broken men. So for me and what I've learned in all these years of being in the field of psychology and education, I'm more focused on the children than I am on the adults, because something about the brain is like a computer. You get you a laptop and that laptop get a virus in it. Even if you get that virus out, it never works the same. The human mind is no different. The black consciousness is, once that Willie Lynch is there, once that white Jesus, once that white people look better than us, once that Africa is a monkey kingdom, once you put that in that mind, you can never be certain whether that virus is totally out or not. So for me, it's about taking the children who've never been processed and making them the African revolutionaries and freedom fighters that we need. And when we speak of revolutionary and freedom fighter, we're not speaking purely in the militaristic sense. When people hear that, they think, oh, you gun. No, intellectual freedom fighters, spiritual, political freedom fighter. We need economic freedom fighter. Forget the warfare. Sometimes the brothers are so quick, we got to fight. We do. But military conflict is the last stage of revolution. It's never the first. Because you got to have something to defend in order to fight for it.
I'm glad you brought up that point about violence and what we should defend. The first thing for us is to fight or want to fight.
Yep.
But we don't know. We gotta know what you're fighting.
Well, I think we got the fight created and designed in us, but we got to understand how to focus the fight.
Yes.
And a lot of times when we talk about, even in neighborhoods, and I don't want to try to sound like, in the hood and the street, the first thing we want to do is want to fight.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But like, one, you don't know the law. Learn the law. Learn rules. How does this structure work? This order work? And then you can put your energy in fight. Something to fight, as opposed to I'm always going to fix. And ain't wrong with being a protector or defendant of your environment, but the energy, I feel like, should go into something. You got to know. We fight against stuff and we don't know what we're fighting against. We don't know the rules. You get mad at a football game and then you realize, oh, I didn't know that wasn't even a penalty. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't a foul, my bad. And you threw stuff across the room already.
But you also got to know, to add to that, we have to be very clear as African people in America. Even with the mastery of the rules, they can be rewritten behind your back.
That's true.
And not only that, even if you didn't break any, they can still fabricate charges against you. I remember an FBI agent came to me in California a couple of years ago, and she said, I'm a former agent, allegedly former, and she said, you need to know that you're being watched already. Former FBI. She said, you've already been profiled. And so I'm asking her, I said, okay, sis, what do you recommend that I do to make sure I don't fall into the trap? She said, there's nothing you can do. I said, what do you mean by that? She said, even if you squeaky clean, they control the media. They can create and fabricate a crime that you never even committed and make everybody believe you guilty. She said, all you can do is just do your best to protect your life. But at the end of the day, they are so much in control of this society, so well resourced and equipped, that although they would rather have something on you organically that is a honest criminal offense that you committed, they're not going to wait for it. If they need to get you now, they will make up a crime and put it on you. And they have the full benefit of the American media system to make it stick. So we got to recognize that when you do this work, just like all of our ancestors before us, nearly every one of them went to jail. Nearly every one. You got to do this work understanding that a time may come when you will be put in jail for the rest of your life, Mamiya, Abu Jamal, so forth and so on, for something you never did. The biggest thing is April 18th, I'm hosting the 50-state Black Parent Training Tour in Mississippi. We're going to go to every state in 2020. So on April the 18th, Saturday, April the 18th, that will be the one time that every Black person in Mississippi, parent or not, you don't have to be a parent, can come and be trained in the art of protecting our children. There's going to be 12 hours intense paperwork. It'll be like nothing you've ever been through. It's the most important training a Black parent can receive raising Black children. And for Mississippi State, it'll be held in Ocean Spring, Mississippi, Saturday, April the 18th, from 8 to 8 p.m., 12 hours intense, and they can register on my website, drumarjohnson.com. But I would say that as we go into this third decade of the 21st century, this first year after our 400 years, we got to look at our 5 major problems: miseducation, economic castration, gentrification, police genocide, mass incarceration. And our priority should be those 5 areas. You're not going to save the Black community if you don't do something about the schools. Build your own. You're not going to save the Black community if you don't do anything about the pathological unemployment and joblessness and the lack of access to wealth. Create your own economy. You're not going to do nothing unless we do something about police genocide. And the solution to police genocide, although nobody wants to talk about it, is Black men are going to have to stand up and challenge them. I believe, and I hate to say it, but knowing our history, I believe the only thing that's going to bring an end to police genocide is a cataclysmic clash between black men and police. And we don't have to win the clash. We don't have to lose it, but we don't have to win the clash. Sometimes you fight not to win, but to get your respect back. And white men have lost their respect of black men in this society, and we have to get it back. So we're going to have to arm and organize ourselves to protect our women, children, and elders. Okay, gentrification, we got to stop selling our properties to white folks. We got to stop letting them push us out of our communities. Okay, and your the mass incarceration and the access to wealth go hand in hand. But you can stop mass incarceration just by giving black men access to employment and business opportunities so they don't have to break the law. Because the white man, if you notice, when he talks about mass incarceration, he never talks about employment. You never hear employment brought into the conversation. Even when you hear the NAACP or the Urban League or the Congressional Black Caucus talk about black on black crime, they approach it from the same narrative as white America. Lack of self-discipline, emotionally uncontrolled, defective DNA, ADHD. Let's talk about economics. Let's talk about the fact that in 1940, y'all decided to rename Irish white folks and rename Italians white and rename Jews white. And up until 1940, they were the gangbangers. They were the ones breaking the law. They were the ones selling the liquor, running the dope. They did exactly what the black man is doing. But nobody said they were born that way. So in 1940, when y'all decided to make them officially white members of your race, you gave the Irish the police departments in the black community. You gave the Italians the fire departments in the black community. And you gave the European Jews the civil service municipal jobs in America's major inner cities that they still own to this very day. They got a stimulus package. We're not going to get no stimulus package from white folks because they have one goal for black America, and that is extermination. And unfortunately, because of our own ignorance and need to be accepted and our infatuation with a black messiah complex, we let Barack Hussein Obama probably deal us the most vicious and devastating death blow to the life of black America by allowing him the free reign of not being questioned or held accountable by any black person or any black organization for 8 years. That's almost a decade. And we allowed a Negro in the White House to go without no accountability to black folks while he fought for every other so-called minority group. And so now with Obama out of office, he probably undid, with our help, because he didn't do it alone, Barack Obama probably undid at least 50 hard years of political, economic, and civil rights struggle for black folks. He undone that. He basically put us back to the 60s with our permission.
Because he did not
do anything of substance to empower black folks. There's something Obama did. 2 things he did that no other president ever did to black folks. Only the Negro is responsible. He homosexualized our children. No matter what you say about all the previous 43 presidents, none of them had a campaign to homosexualize, effeminize, and transgenderize black boys. To the point where they would go to the school district and say that you got to let boys go to the girl bathroom if they feel like girls. And you got to let girls go to the boys' bathroom if they feel like boys. Who would do that? Donald Trump reversed it. I'm glad he did. But I'm embarrassed because you have a white racist who had to step in reverse a pathologically sick law that a black president signed into action. So that's the one thing he did. He's the only president ever to push homosexuality and transgenderism on the black community the way that he did it. And the second thing that he did is when Barack Obama became president, we were the priority minority in America. You follow me? Right. Don't get me wrong. We caught hell. But you could not, no matter who you were, you had to take a position on black folks, pro or con. But you had to give your position. Now you don't even have to give a position because we allowed him to elevate the Latino and the homosexual and the female and the immigrant to a status that is now more important to black folks. So for example, this coming presidential election, black folks really think they're going to be a topic of discussion. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to get a couple little conversations because they still want that little black vote they can get. But you are not the priority minority. You know who these people catering to? Immigrants, Latinos, homosexuals, and women. Black people are last. You used to be first, but you let that Negro push you back. And what bothers me the most about it now is most of us don't even recognize what we did, although our grandkids will suffer from it. And then secondary to that is Michelle Obama is running around selling that book. And I don't know if y'all heard, but they said the way her book is selling, if it doesn't slow down, it'll be the #1 book in American history, second only to the Bible in sales. Michelle Obama's book is on a trajectory to be the highest selling book in American history. Obama's is not even out yet. Now, when his come out, he might break the Bible. White Jesus, now you got black Jesus. But anyway, my point is, y'all making money off the fact that y'all were black and in the White House. Both of you are attorneys, Ivy League trained attorneys. Why isn't Michelle and Obama putting together some sort of a task force on mass incarceration? Why aren't they using some of that money to do something about miseducation? Why aren't they doing some of that? Why can't y'all put together, open up a black bank and fund young black students who want to open up a business instead of going into debt through the college system? My point is, you got 2 lawyers who turned their back on black people for 8 years and put everybody in front of us. He wouldn't even do anything against police genocide. Barack Obama could have ordered a U.S. Department of Justice investigation into the systematic killings of unarmed, defenseless blacks. He didn't even do that. And I think that's part of the reason why his Attorney General, Eric Holder, resigned. I don't know this to be a fact, but I find it very interesting that he resigned right around the time of all these mass killings. And I think it is because he felt that the president wasn't doing enough to protect black life. But my point is, you made mistakes in office. You're no longer in office, and I don't see you doing anything to correct those mistakes, which means you're not sorry. Donate to FDMG. Everybody.
Donate. Hey, and y'all know Cash App, so you can Cash App, and then you go to Facebook and do the same thing, because Facebook Messages do the same thing as Cash App.
If
Absolutely.
Google you, they can find that again. Right?
Yeah, on the website as well, drumarjohnson.com. And that's where you want to go to register for the April 18th Black Mississippi Know Your Rights National Black Training Tour. Make sure y'all in the building. April 18th. Looking forward to seeing all of Mississippi there.
Listen, don't be fooled by the fake Facebook pages either.
Yeah.
Go to the website.
Yeah, go to the website.
Go to the website.
Yeah.
All right. Thank y'all for joining us.
No problem.
On Facebook at Good Twin Bad Twin Unleashed, and also on Instagram at Good Twin Bad Twin Unleashed. Now don't forget to watch our YouTube page and make sure you like and share our videos. Also go to our Facebook page, check out our t-shirt line. We have several wonderful t-shirts there that helps us to continue to provide good footage for you. Thank you.